Hey guys, Tom here, and we're coming back with part 8 of the Urban Legends Iceberg, and we're nearing in on the end of this whole iceberg adventure we've been going on together. Got 2 more parts after this. So I do want to say I appreciate you guys watching so far, if you've stuck around from the beginning, and if this is your first time catching one of my iceberg videos, I do have an entire playlist with all the videos in it to allow you to watch from beginning to end. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start on this Urban Legends Part 8 of the Iceberg. And the first urban legend on it is the Blue Star Tattoo legend. And from what I could gather, it's an urban legend which states that a temporary lick and stick tattoo that was soaked with LSD and made into the form of a blue star or a popular children's cartoon character is being distributed to unknown children in any given area. The legend commonly surfaces in American elementary and middle schools in the form of a flyer which is distributed to parents by concerned school officials. In the past, it was often in the form of a poor quality photocopy or um, become popular on the internet, mailing lists, and websites. The legend states that the temporary lick and stick tattoo soaked in LSD and made in the form of a blue star, often mentioned as the logo of the Dallas Cowboys, or of popular cartoon characters such as Mickey Mouse and Bart Simpson, is being distributed to children in the area in order to get them addicted to LSD. Generally, some attribution is given typically to a well regarded hospital or vaguely specified advisor to the president, and instructions are given that parents should contact police if they come across the Blue Star tattoos. The legend possibly originated from the fact that an LSD solution is sometimes sold on blotter paper with various designs, including cartoons. No actual cases of LSD distribution to children in this manner have been documented, although LSD does not penetrate through the skin in sufficient quantities so as to induce a psychedelic experience. The concern was over children licking the tattoo paper before transferring it to the skin. Um, I have heard that one circulate around a little bit in the past. However, I thought it was interesting to see that one pop up on the Urban Legends Iceberg. But moving along, the next one is going to be Boo Hags. A Boo Hag is a mythical creature in the folklore of I think it's Gula culture. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. It was locally created unique contribution to the worldwide hag folklore based on the syncretic belief system of Gula culture. According to the legend, Boo Hags are similar to vampires, however, unlike vampires, they gain sustenance from the person's breath as opposed to their blood by riding their victims. They have no skin and are red. In order to be less conspicuous, they steal a victim's skin and use it for as long as it holds out, wearing it as one might wear clothing. They remove and hide the skin before going riding. When a hag determines a victim is suitable for riding, the hag generally gains access to home through a small crack, a crevice, or a hole, then hags itself over the sleeping, dazing victim, sucking in their breath. Um, this acts this act renders the victim helpless and induces a deep dream-filled sleep. The hag tends to leave the victim alive so as to use them again for their energy. However, if the victim struggles, the hag may take their skin, leaving the victim to suffer. After taking the victim's energy, the hag flies off as they must be in their skin by dawn or be forever trapped without skin. When the victim awakes, they may feel short of breath, sick, and very dizzy, but generally the victim only feels tired. And apparently, an expression sometimes used in South Carolina is "don't let the hag ride you." This expression may come or originate from some variation of the Boo Hag legend, which I thought was actually kind of an interesting read. I have heard of urban legends titled like the Old Hag and whatnot, where people used to use those to describe sleep paralysis, where they had the legend that there'd be an old hag that would sit on your chest and consume your energy, which a lot of people would claim that when you're having sleep paralysis, that's why your arms feel pinned, why your chest feels heavy, and a lot of it is because there's a bit of hallucination that goes on because the subconscious part of the brain is still very active, and due to the fear you might end up seeing something there that's not really there. But anyways, regardless, we're going to move on to the next urban legend at this level. And again, just as a friendly reminder, guys, the urban legends I talk about from these levels are not all the urban legends on these levels. I just select a few because I do not want to make an super long video um, about these ones. I want to try and keep the videos short and concise because I feel like it's more effective to stick a video that's closer to that 8 to 10 minute mark versus making a 20, 30, or 40-minute long video discussing everything. But the next one that we're going to discuss is called The Lighthouse and the Naval Vessel, which some of you guys may have heard this one in the form of like a joke or an online post. Now, the lighthouse and naval vessel urban legend describes an encounter between a large naval ship and what at first appears to be another vessel, which the ship is on a collision course with. Um, the naval vessel is usually identified as of the United States Navy or the United Kingdom's Royal Navy, and generally described as a battleship or aircraft carrier, and requests the other ship to change course, which the other party, generally identified as Canadian or often Irish and occasionally Spanish lighthouse keeper, responds that the naval vessel should change course, whereupon the captain of the naval vessel reiterates the demand and identifies himself as well as the ship he commands, and sometimes making threats if the other party does not change course. This usually will elicit a response worded as, "I'm a lighthouse, it's your call," or similarly, the punchline, which has become shorthand for the entire anecdote. It has circulated on the internet and elsewhere in particular since a 1995 iteration that was represented as the actual transcript of such a communication released by the Office of the U.S. Chief of Naval Operations. There appears to be no evidence that the event actually took place, and the account is implausible for several reasons. It is thus considered an urban legend, a variation on a joke that dates to at least the 1930s, sometimes referred to as the lighthouse versus the carrier or the lighthouse versus the battleship. And the US Navy at one point had a web page that was actually debunking it, although it did not stop the US former Director of National Intelligence, Mick McConnell, using it as a joke in a 2008 speech, and other speakers have often used it simply as a parable teaching the dangers of inflexibility and self importance or the need for situational awareness. Which I think is actually kind of interesting to take an urban legend and turn it into a parable. Um, if you're not familiar with what a parable is, it's essentially sharing a story or something that has a lesson behind it, and you could take the lesson at the heart of the story and utilize that to realize something that could help you out or change how you treat certain aspects of life or activities that you're going about. Now, with that being said, we're going to be on to the last urban legend that comes with this level, at least as far as the ones I'll be discussing in today's video, and it's called Nale Ba. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. I do apologize if I mispronounced that one. It's a popular folk legend which features prominently in areas across Karnataka, India. Again, I do apologize if I mispronounced some stuff. I'm not as familiar with how the pronunciation might be from those countries. I'm trying to say it based off how it's spelled out, so if I mispronounce, I am terribly sorry. But if you know how it is pronounced, feel free to let me know in the comments down below what the proper way to pronounce some of these names are. Um, it was found to be written on the doors and walls of the towns and villages for certain years. Villagers write it on the walls to prevent the entry of a malevolent spirit into their homes, and it is believed that the malevolent spirit or witch roams at night and takes away children. In some variations, people used to believe that a witch, and some believe that it was a male ghost, roams around the houses calling out a person's name. And it knocks the door, which has not written Nale Ball. If he or she replies, that person would die by vomiting blood. And in some other variations of the myth, the spirit is believed to be a bridal ghost who roams around in town in search of her husband. She is known to take away the man of the house, who is often the sole earning member of the family, therefore bringing bad luck to the entire household. There's an urban legend that went viral during the 1990s. The myth is that a witch roams the streets in the night, knocks on the door. The witch apparently speaks in the voices of your kin, so you'd be deceived to opening the door. If you open it, then you'll die. So the residents came up with the smart idea of writing Nale Ba outside of the doors and the walls of their house. When the ghost reads it, and it goes back to come again the next day, and the cycle repeats. Um, from some of the areas that I was looking this up, it said that phrase means come back tomorrow. Though I'm not 100% sure because that's not my native tongue. So if you're familiar with the language and know what it means, if it does mean come back tomorrow or if it means something else, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. However, that's going to wrap up part 8 of the Urban Legends Iceberg, and we're going to leave us with 2 more parts for this. We got part 9 coming out next week, and then part 10 coming out the final week, or the week after that. And that's going to end the Iceberg Urban Legends videos. So, with that being said, if you guys are a fan of this content, feel free to click that like and subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification to be notified of all my future uploads. And as always, enjoy life. Take it a day at a time. And I'll catch y'all next time.